Hey guys, this is Trevor Probant. This is the Land Investing Dirt Road to Wealth podcast. Today is the 19th of August, 2025. We are having a pretty mild summer actually in Texas, even though it's supposed to be 100 and some odd degrees today. But overall, it's been pretty good. Hopefully, it's not been too bad where you're at. So, following up on something I kind of talked about the other day, this is something that I've been working on here, I don't know, last 3, 4, 5 months. Got a project we're going to be doing hopefully in Houston. Went to Houston and back yesterday. Working on some kind of creative stuff out in that sub market on some development stuff. Going to be a really, really cool project. Really, really high quality dirt. Building big, expensive roads. Spending probably $1.5 million in improvements on a deal. But the returns are definitely there. So that's exciting. Trying to get all of that, the team built right. And talking about team, we've got engineering that does everything. They instead of $10,000 to do a simple subdivide, they're going to charge $4,000 a lot, $3,500 a lot, right? You're looking at $150,000 to $170,000 to do the engineering, but they run it through the process. They run it through jump all through all the hoops and everything else. So that's something we don't have to worry about quite so much. Finding the right road guy, which often you can do that with a referral from your engineering firm, right? Interviewed a couple different ones. They're both about the same kind of cost basis. One I just clicked with a little more on a personal basis, right? And good guy, is an investor himself, likes the product, is within home base is within 50 miles of this project, so that's where we went there, right? Power, utilities, working with a large company like CenterPoint Energy is a nightmare. They think they're special. I think I don't know how else to say it, but it's amazing how many engineers they need to have to get you a quote on anything. So anyway, one way or other, it'll be interesting to kind of see what goes on with that project. That hopefully get that under contract and finalize, get all that stuff going. Within this week, start moving along next week, and hopefully within the first of the year, right after the first of the year, we'll have inventory to sell. So that'll be fun. So, also, this is the main reason we're having the podcast, kind of talking about, I've got a old fraternity brother of mine that wants to start doing some land stuff, but I kind of was talking to him about it, and I think the best opportunity as far as what he was looking for, as far as being more hands off, not having to be active, things like this, would be on the lending side. We started talking about it, and we've had Josh B. Singer on here. He's a buddy of mine, does a bunch of lending, hard money lending and things like this. And great guy, still got projects with him. Still considered one of my better friends. Anyway, and kind of picked his brain on it. And so I think we're going to start doing some short term lending in the land space. And I'm here to kind of explain what that is, right? And so this would be, you find a property, or maybe you find even a potential subdivide, as long as it's nothing too big as far as, overall price point, or not price point, as far as CapEx, right? Let's say, we all know the game. You call, you text, you do whatever that may be, right? And you find a property that's, worth 100 grand, and you can buy it for 50. You don't have the 50 because you've got all your other money somewhere else, right? I know there's been a lot of people that would come in and say, hey, let's do a partnership. We'll split it 60-40. We'll split it 50-50, whatever that may be. This is not that. This would be a true kind of hard money, which basically means I don't care about your, your credit rating. I don't care about, your last 5 years of W-2s, anything like that. We're simply lending on the asset, right? My whole goal is to provide as much value to you as humanly possible, put as much money into your pocket, right? Our whole goal is to where you can find the thing, buy it with my money or with our money, and then sell it in the next day, pay some of our fees. But for the most part, you're keeping the vast majority of the profit, right? I believe in that 110%. And as we work into this next year, we're going to be hopefully being able to do that, maybe some what we would call like a bridge loan lending on subdivides, right? And it would be very specific subdivides, and it would not be long-term lending, in my opinion. Something we could potentially look at, but the interest rates it's not worth it on a lot of these, right? On the long-term sales of the subdivides or the value add propositions. But if it is something that we could potentially come in, help you do a development on this, like let's talk about a one that I've kind of got in the hopper that's closer to Dallas, right? That's going to be that's a $1.5 million buy-in, and it's going to take another $1 million to get basically all of the turn it into estate lots, right? 1.5 to 2 acre lots. You're in at nearly $3 million all in, but the new values are at 5.255, right? So, and that's an extreme example of that, but like to be able to come in and say, hey, we will help you buy it and help you, you'd have to come up with some of the money, obviously, for the improvements. But if we can come in, help you get there, and then you cash us out, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever that is, with your longer term debt, bank debt, or whatever that may be, to come in and get that done, right? Another example, let's say you find a great subdivide deal, but you don't have the cash. The guy wants to only sell it to you cash. Let's say it's you can buy it for 500. It's worth 1.5. With some cutting and some roads and some basic roads and things like this. But the guy's only going to take it if you can give him within a month or so the 500 grand cash. Would be a great opportunity to come in, use the short-term money to get it bought, and then that gives you time to put in your own partners, to put in other investors in order to get that deal done and be able to recoup the larger amounts of money, right? And so an example of that is, okay, the guy wants to sell it for 500 grand. We get it bought quick for you. That takes the pressure off and the time off your hands as far as finding that next, or putting together the team, the new LLC, the project, getting the quotes, everything else like that. Get all that done, and maybe in 3 months you got a whole nother team that you can put together with your Capital Farm Credit, with other folks like that. They can come in, get us paid off, right? Pay our percentages and on that on the short term, but you added a ton of value, and you're still able to get the best price possible through offering a cash buy, right? That would be probably next year sometime that we can really do that. Obviously, depending on the deal. But that would be the ideal kind of idea as far as I don't know anyone that's doing that. To get started, we've got several hundred grand kind of sitting around that we would love to work with you on getting, your flips or your shorter term properties, right? Where you can really expand your overall footprint, right? Where you're not spending all your own money to get the deals done, where you can spread that across, let's say 4 or 5 different deals. And we can, that allows you to deleverage, de-risk a bit. Obviously, you're going to be paying a monthly fee on the dirt or on the debt side there, but we want you to keep as much cash in your pocket as possible, right? So dirt's what we love. It's what I love. I will be using my Go West itself. Will be using the capital for that short term buy cash, force appreciation, cash out with a longer term debt, more of that bridge loan stuff. I will absolutely be using that myself. Um, so the whole, not only am I the president, but I'm also a member. The Bald Hair Club. Um, that's kind of where we're looking at. So if you've got something kind of in the hopper or things like that, reach out to me, Trevor at gowestlands.com, or you can shoot me a text or call or one way or other. We can kind of talk about what you got going, and I'll have kind of a punch list and kind of clean it all up. But again, if you got something that you're really looking at, kind of moving right now or trying to get something going short term, love to talk to you, kind of see what fits and makes sense for you. So anyway, thanks. I will be rocking and rolling. We'll kind of keep you updated on a couple of these other projects as they come along. Have a great day.